Yeah! Hey race fans, Brian Davis Races. So today I am on my way home early to the 4DP test for Sufferfest to arrive at a more well-rounded FTP. So I'm stoked for this because I haven't worked out really in a week, well, maybe 5 days. So I should be rested. I might be down fitness just a hair, but overall I'm rested. We'll call it rested. And I'm ready for this, so stoked. Spring racing's coming up very fast, and I don't have a very good plan on how I'm gonna get ready for that. So hopefully these guys are the answer. Excited! Oh, I'm gonna turn my fans up. I kind of forgot, I'm gonna be honest with you, I forgot in my head that part of this was doing a 20-minute test. Yeah! Calf. Whoa. Cramping. Oh, that's cool. I want you to take a walk. Oh.
You're talking out loud, you're being all grunty. Gross.
I'm doing a video.
Yeah, I figured that out.
Alright, well let's talk about the test itself. It was pretty miserable. So I thought it was really hard. Part of it was because I didn't have my brain around exactly what the sequence was going to be. I really should have paid more attention to what was coming up. So I totally forgot about the 1 minute effort at the end, and frankly, going into it, I totally forgot about the 20-minute effort in there too. So somewhere recently I saw a video that was like an 8-minute test, and for a couple of... I think my sprint could have gone a little bit better. Honestly, the first one was a total throwaway, just my brain wasn't quite there yet. But the second one, I gave it a good go, but somewhere between that trainer and my effort level that day, it just didn't work out. And that's where my cramp issue started, was in that sprint. So that plagued me for the rest of the effort. I think my 5-minute was pretty perfect, which expressed itself because it gave me a rating as a pursuiter, which would indicate a good 5-minute effort capability. I think my 20-minute was terrible. I had to stop twice in there because of my calf cramps, so that definitely hurt my numbers. But I didn't really have a choice in that. They weren't even really cramping. It was just sort of like bubbling on one of them, and it was really disconcerting. So I think my one effort was the closest to death that I've ever been, and that number was the lowest of all three in my overall profile. I'll show you the image of that in a second. You can see that the 1 minute is what I'm really lacking. So I thought for sure, I've always gone about life thinking I'm a sprinter, and I still feel that way, but the test gives me some other things to think about. So there you go. I love the get off and grunt, or get off and walk part, and then my wife letting me know that I'm grunty was also awesome. Okay, so now let's talk about why bother with 4DP. What is it really saying versus FTP? FTP is one element, so it's 20 minutes, and that's one data point. And 4DP gives you a little more depth to that number. So just like if you had a coach, you'd be submitting your information to the coach, and the coach would be tweaking your workout accordingly based on what we're trying to accomplish for you as a rider, or address your weaknesses, or help you be more explosive in a crit out of the corners, or a better sprinter, whatever the case is. That coach is tweaking things, and that's really what 4DP is trying to replicate, is that coaching process where you're getting a little bit more depth in terms of making you a better all-around rider, or at least addressing the things that you could fix. And in my research for this, one of the things I found that it was probably the most technically sound reason, I think, is that if you don't improve your anaerobic, or pay attention to some of those anaerobic efforts, you're never going to really lift the ceiling on what is possible with your FTP. So sure, you'll see FTP improvements, but I think you're just making a more efficient engine. I don't think you're actually building a bigger engine, which is really where I think 4DP is much more powerful, is it gives you that ability to look at your weaknesses and raise those so they can all rise in sync, and you can become a better overall rider with a bigger engine, not just being more efficient. So that part I really like. So a couple other little features. So two riders that may have the same FTP would get a totally different workout on Sufferfest. So when you choose to use your FTP number or your 4DP number, you can switch back and forth in the settings, and you can see the difference in the workout is pretty clear, that by putting the 4DP in, you're definitely getting a different experience in those workouts. So I guess I'll sum up why 4DP in this sentence. Cycling is so much more nuanced than one number, right? So it's more than just your FTP, it's more than just your power to weight ratio, those two numbers being the most critical. But that's really what drives so much data and so much how good are you, how good am I type conversations, where 4DP allows you to have a conversation about what you're good at. So when I posted on Facebook that I'm a pursuiter, everybody's like, oh, that's cool. No one's comparing their number to mine. So it's much less of a measuring contest and much more of a conversation about what could I do to do things differently. So really like that part about where this is going. It's once you do it, it's really clear. Having that amount of information is great. So now let's talk about the app itself and how it did a Sufferfest video. So I'll post that, and you can take a look at my thoughts on Zwift versus Sufferfest. Probably the most important part of that is right at the end. I say, as soon as I chose Zwift, I missed and regretted not having Sufferfest in my life. And that's been made more clear when I've come back to it. So Zwift does a lot of things right, don't get me wrong about that, but the social part has faded for me a little bit, and I'm more interested, maybe it's because we're getting closer to season, I'm more interested in just getting in, getting my work done. I don't want to worry about kudos or how are you doing or any of that stuff. And I also think the experience on Sufferfest is a little more realistic because the tempo changes, standing up, sitting down, you don't really get that in the Zwift workout modes. You do get the racing though in Zwift, and that is pretty awesome. So that is hard to replicate with anything related to Sufferfest. So anyway, the app itself. I like that the workouts can connect to Training Peaks. So you go through, you get your 40p, and then what, right? So you can pick a training plan that's coupled with Training Peaks that's included with your membership. And then I chose like a 12-week test, booster, probably not a booster, but a 12-week improvement program for whatever it was, I forget. But it goes right into Training Peaks. Training Peaks goes into my phone, so every morning I can see what I'm supposed to get done that day. So I really like that. There's a couple things that could be a little bit better with that. If that came through if that extended out to the Garmin, that would be even better, so I could take that training program on the road. If it ever stops snowing in Wisconsin, I'm confident I will ride a bike on the road this year, and it would be neat to be able to get those workouts replicated in real life. I think that would really help Sufferfest become a year-round, no-brainer solution for a lot of people. Whereas Zwift totally drops off in the summer. It doesn't really do you any good when you're riding outside. I think Sufferfest, with just a few tweaks or a little extra persuading with Training Peaks, could really make that a world-class experience. So if you like what I had to say today, please subscribe. I would really appreciate that. If you don't like what I had to say, bye-bye.
You're talking out loud, you're being all grunty. Gross.
I'm doing a video.
Yeah, I figured it out.